What is up, everybody? My name is Dane Thompson. Welcome back to another episode of BurnDown. So today, we are back on the Maliboom. For those of you that may not know, I sold the entire turbo kit off this to a buddy of mine. He's building an S10. And initially, I got a new turbo from VS Racing. We were just going to upgrade. And I was going to kind of leave the hot side and just try to do it like a quick swap on it. And then I decided I wanted to take out inner fenders. We were moving a bunch of weight around. And ideally, I didn't want the turbo on the driver's side. I wanted it to offset weight and obviously be on the passenger side. So I figured, well, my buddy's not really the greatest at fab work. And I said, dude, you can just have the whole turbo kit and everything if you wanted, and you can try to stuff it on the S10. So that's what we did. So now I have zero hot side on this. So the new plan for this thing, we're gonna run an 85mm T4 VS Racing turbo, and then at a certain point we'll upgrade the housing to a T6. I want to run the turbo on the passenger side. I have nothing as far as a turbo kit is concerned right now. So we're going to start from scratch. I'll bring you guys along, kind of show you what we're doing. I'm going to run truck manifolds. We are going to call it Project Chernobyl because I got rid of my big donkey intercooler that was down here to kind of get weight off the front of the car, and because I can't find good resources on the internet besides do not run it hot. I will tell you, and I have a video, I've made over 500 horsepower with this same motor with the GT45 on a hot setup. So now with the larger turbo, what I'm hoping is we can run with the T4, kind of see how it does. It's on the 85. We'll push it a bit till we're kind of like uncomfortable with the power level and hopefully not blowing it to pieces. And then at some point we'll upgrade to a T6 exhaust housing. And I'm curious to see if the I would say lack of back pressure with the bigger exhaust housing, because a T6 is obviously a larger housing. If the jump from a T4 to a T6 knocks back pressure down and brings like IATs and everything down. So that's what I'm kind of curious. So I want to run it hot. We'll push with the T4. I'm really not trying to blow it to pieces. We're just trying to make pretty good power with it. And then we'll switch to a T6 and leave everything kind of the same and see if that brings IATs down and power up and how that affects a setup like this. If you guys have any good resources for hot setups, let me know, but it's basically just going to go turbo straight into the intake and we're going to party. There's a few people I've talked to, a couple people here and there. People are kind of vague. Most people say that a lot of the guys are on methanol, so a lot of guys you see without intercoolers are methanol, but we're going to keep it E85. I may, when we really try to push it, splash in some E85 and cut race fuel with it, do like a little mix. So that way, hopefully we're kind of safe if we get to the upper realm of what I think the setup will do and I don't feel comfortable. But honestly, it's just for fun. I've had this motor here since day one. This is the second LS motor I've ever built. The first one I floated the valves doing a donut at Roadkill a few years ago, and they shut the event down because of rain. They had a big giant parking lot. I didn't know my rev limiter was set to like 8K, and I just wooded the thing and was doing donuts, and yeah, the cam didn't live through that. So actually didn't blow it up, center rod to it or nothing. The motor is still good, and it's actually running today on some other guy's car. I got rid of the thing. So we got this one off an Instagram follower, Sickler 66 Sickler, something like that. Very cool guy. Got it for $100. This thing's been running and I beat on it, so I figure we will go hot. We will see what it'll do. If you guys out there can simplify your life and literally skip the intercooler and plumbing and all that crap and just make low power and have fun, or maybe add the stuff on later, and we're able to keep them safe on E85 at a low power level, which I think is more than doable, maybe it'll help simplify your life and you can just do that, go, oh cool, I can be turbo and I don't have to fab and do all that extra crazy crap. We can just have some fun. So that's kind of the goal of this. And then obviously I'm dumb, so we're just going to turn it up, and I'd like to go racing. I'd like to keep it super simple as well, because next year I'd like to do Rocky Mountain Race Week. So this year's big deal is getting the Winnebago to Kentucky. Next year I want to get this thing lined out, get some real seat time in it, and I'd like it to take it to Rocky Mountain Race Week just to complete the thing, and you know, rub elbows with other racers and just have a good time with it. So we're not trying to set the world on fire, but if I can keep it simple, just like a hot setup, if I have to work on it, I know I could slam it back together real quick and we can be back on the road driving, running. So that's another reason for me to just simplify my life with this thing. So that is it. Let's get started. I'll show you what we're doing. We're going truck manifolds from scratch. We're gonna go hot setup, and I think today we picked the turbo location, start plumbing it in. Look at that, room for activities. So I pulled this out the other day. So battery tray, that stuff, and then the intercooler and mount and everything I had on here was worth 60 pounds. So that's pretty cool. You got the heater box to go still. I know that'll probably give me, you know, 20 pounds or so, whatever that thing weighs. Obviously, we have wires and fun things to clean up at some point. We got to move things around. But today what I want to do is I'm just going to get all this stuff out of the way. Probably just take this off, get this guy out of here. Take the fuel line off because I'm going to run log manifolds, so we'll probably have to move all this over. But essentially, I just want to get everything out of the way, put the manifolds on, and kind of see where we're at. And then the turbo, I wanted to live on this side this time. So the other one lived over here, and then I had a little hole cut for the fresh air, so maybe we'll kind of trim it out and do the same. But I got to find a location, and then I still want it close enough to the engine so it's supported from the motor, because it's not really, the engine's not hard mounted. And I was debating, I do have a set of hard mounts, but I think that would shake my freaking face off, so we'll just kind of leave it as is for now. I guess what we could do is we could always brace, now that I got room back here, I can run a brace off and brace the back portion of the engine on like both sides, or at least one side, to keep it rigid. So I don't know. Let's get to building turbo hot side stuff, shall we? Alright, now that we've made a gigantic mess, I just run water in here, by the way, so anybody that's freaking out like, oh my god, there's no coolant. So moved all the lines, and then initially I put my regulator here. I'll show you guys this. It's kind of funny. So this is my regulator. Oh, piston E85. And then I was like, I can get my fuel pressure right there instead of putting it in line or like doing something nice. It was like first thought, just slammed it there. And I had to extend the Holley, and it's lived there ever since. We'll kind of rethink this and then maybe clean some of this up. I got like triple clamps on here. This is all stock hoses, and I got a swivel neck because I thought that'd be an issue. And then obviously all my fuel lines coming right out here may need to be moved. So I think this, everything will need to be rerouted, I believe. So let's get the truck manifolds. We'll kind of see if they'll bolt down. My two concerns are the steering and the fuel, and then water, obviously, because we're going to come forward and then down, and we got to go over to this area somehow. So let's see if we can bolt those on, see how they go. I just want them to come kind of straight, and then we'll V-band them and we can figure that out. So if we can bolt those on, get the turbo in place, all we got to do is pipe it from there to there, and we're good. And I actually have some trick stuff to show you guys. I have been going to a place called JMD Tubing. They are phenomenal. They've been helping me out. They're really awesome. The prices are pretty good. They've got a huge online selection, and hopefully I can get them to start backing the channel for as many changes as I make. They really like the Twinnebago, and I was showing them all that stuff or whatever. But they don't sponsor me or anything like that, but I think it'll make your life easier, because it makes my life easier, so I just want to share it with you guys. I don't get anything for you know, using them or giving them a shout out, but I think that's the right thing to do. When you find a business that works and they help you out and they're good at what they do, you need to share that with people. So if you buy stuff from them, just tell them I sent you, and then maybe one of these days they'll hook me up. But very nice guys, very cool. So I'll show you the stuff that I bought to do the hot side. So let's get these manifolds on here, and then we'll go from there. All right, so here's a set of manifolds I got. I don't know what they're off of. But what I do know is they are truck manifolds, and then I believe these are the little bit later model, because the really early ones have like an EGR, I think, coming off of one of these bad boys, or like an EGR hookup. So yeah, these are what we're going to try to use, and then we're going to try to run them forward and down is the plan. That way we still have plug clearance and all that fun stuff. So let's struggle kind of set these on there. We'll take a look at it. I'll bring you guys back and let you know what I think. All right, so right away I have a few concerns, but I think we can work around them, I'm hoping. So I just got one bolt holding it in. They're not 100% in place, but this dumps straight into my fuel, which we can't have that. The fuel actually runs through the frame on this vehicle, and I struggled and put it there. I don't know why I was so ambitious to put it there. In real life, I could come around and probably up on top of the frame, and anyway, that's where I chose to put it. That's where it is for now. I'm not making new fuel lines, so we'll work around it. I think I can cut it and then kind of make a little bend or a straight piece and try to get it to come out straight, and then we'll lava wrap all the fuel. That way we keep the heat out of the fuel. And this one, I wish they were both shaped like this, because this would be easy money. This guy has a pretty good shape to it, other than I have to keep the V-band past this because the V-band's a bigger circumference than this is, and it's going to be hot salsa, so I don't want it to melt my little rag joint here, which at some point this all needs to get changed out as well because I have a steering rack kit, but one thing at a time. So I'm going to cut this side, we'll make it work, and same thing with that side, and we'll see if we can kind of get it straightened out, maybe tack some V-bands or whatever, and then we'll get on to turbo mounting. So let me hack these up, we'll put bolts in it, I'll show you a tentative location of what I think is going to work, and we will bring you boys back. These are the guys I was talking about. This is where you can find all the trick stuff. This is their catalog that I picked up so I could just reference stuff. But if you are building pretty much anything, they make all the mandrel bends, flanges, all the fun stuff. I know you guys are excited about all this stuff. So, again, JMD, these guys are very nice, very knowledgeable. This is my little box of goodies. We went with mild steel because I am cheap. You can get all this in stainless. And then all this stuff, they swedged it and made it so it all plays nice together. This dude, how many of you guys have put a piece of pipe into your flange, right? We all done that. You just kind of oval it, you bang on it, you weld it. Well, they make one that fits, and then this will weld to the other piece. This thing was $10. So for 10 bucks, I'm not gonna mess with it. We'll just get it rock and roll. And then this little piece, this is actually for my wastegate. It's a little bit different in size. They swedged it so this fits my wastegate, and this goes to the, I'm sorry, this fits my wastegate, and this goes to a 2.5, which is the rest of the tubing size. So that way I have stock laying around. I didn't have to buy a specific size for the wastegate. They just bumped it up a little bit. Now I can weld it to the other one, and we're rock and roll. And then bungs for the O2, huh? And then V-bands. So, like I said, these guys, they have it all. They have some really trick stuff there too. But yeah, that's where I got all my stuff. I got my cold side piping, all my stuff. I tried to get it from them now when I'm over in that area. So they have straight pipe. You can get it by the foot. They ship, all that fun stuff. So reach out to these guys if you need stuff. You don't have a local spot to get your tubing, and you guys won't be disappointed. So anyway, check this out. We cut it off. So now we got to grab one of these dudes in here. I'll put it together, and we'll kind of see if it fits with the steering. If not, we'll make adjustments. All right, guys. So what we're gonna do is this is the cutoff end. I got to looking at it. I was gonna cut this and put a straight piece of pipe, and then put the V-band off that. I already have this. It already has a bend to it. It's the same size and everything because I cut it off of there. We just need to be clocked a little different. So literally, I shaved this and trimmed it down the shape I kind of wanted it. We're gonna glue it back on. That gives me clearance. See, I got at least a finger down here between my steering and the manifold now because it's going up instead of down. And then we can just clock it like that, kind of off to the side, so it goes around the belt, and then we'll just bring it around and then down. And I'll cut these studs off, we'll weld the V-band straight to that, and we are rock and roll. I could trim it down. Maybe we'll trim the flanges off, or maybe not. I don't really care. I guess weight, huh? Weight savings, right? So we'll cut the 3 ounces off there. But yeah, I'm going to clock it like this. We'll tack it all up real good. Maybe tack the V-band to it, and then move on to the other side. Alright, just like that, movie magic, we are back. I am going to mock it up. Usually I'm lazy and I don't put the gaskets in, and it may not seem like much, but by the time you go a little here, a little over there, a few more little wiggles, things don't want to line up after you finish weld it. I chose to finish weld this piece right away because that's where it's going to live. So I'm not going to just tack stuff and go like, this is good to go, we'll be fine, and then we'll tack all the pipe and come back and finish weld that. And again, it's less chance when you just tack everything together real good and you take it off and you weld it, you come back, stuff doesn't want to go back together. So I cut the tabs off. Mainly, I was joking for weight, but to just kind of condense the damn thing down. And then what we do, so we just take this boy, we stick it right there. And that's it. And then you can get a weld, you know, when I take the clamp off.
So that'll live like that, and it pokes out, and we're clear of all the belts and everything, and it'll just loop around and down this direction, and the turbo will be over there. So this side is done. I'm not even gonna tack this on yet. We'll wait till we get to plumbing, actual plumbing. But yeah, that's a look at it. And we got good clearance over here for the steering. I feel better about, so we don't smoke that rag joint, hopefully. It's probably still gonna get hot. I may even wrap this side right here just so we don't smoke that rag joint, because this is just rubber, dude. I don't know what the temperature is on that thing. And I'd like to keep my steering intact. Okay, so we're on to this side. And I thought it was gonna be terrible. I got it bolted up, and the more I look at it, it's really not that bad. This flange makes it look really bad. But if we look underneath, where it pokes out, or where the hole is, it kind of clears this for the most part. And obviously I have room to move this, and I can play with the fuel lines and the way they come out of there. Obviously we can kind of clock them and move them over. They're just hardlined. So I think if I cut this off and kind of jog it, I can make sure I get it closer to like the frame over here and away from those guys, and then I feel good about lava wrapping that. And then it also depends on turbo placement, but I think this one's going to kind of come straight forward. It doesn't even have to go into the fuel lines, hopefully. So let me look at it a bit more. We'll make an executive decision. I'll bring you guys back. I got this dude cut, and I cut it in like a fish mouth shape instead of a, you know, just a straight cut, in hopes that I can kind of bang on this and beat it and get it to where it kind of fits in there, you know, and does like a straight deal. We can kind of mark it off and get it to where it'll just kind of dump straighter out. So this is, you know, something like that's my goal. You guys get the idea. But yeah, we did like the little fish mouth, and then we'll just mark this off and kind of have it cruise out. All right, here she is, the finished product. We had to flatten the bottom out a little bit, but the transition ain't all that bad, honestly. And the trick to it, if you're wondering, this is thin, this is thick. You just keep all the heat here, and you just move over and then back to just burn just the edge of that in. So otherwise, you'll melt this before this gets any heat in it. And then, yeah, I'm happy with it. I think that's cool. So I'll let it cool down a little bit. This thing's hot. And then we'll bolt it down, and we'll get on to turbo placement. All right, I figured I'd share this with you guys because I got a lot of new guys that are new to turbo building and fab work and whatnot. So I've got both of those. You guys saw that. Now I need the spot for those to be plumbed into, which is the actual turbo. So this is my actual turbo flange that the pipe is going to come into the bottom of. But I need to put the turbo where I want it, because you can't just bring a bunch of pipes and kind of just have it hanging out and then try to fit the turbo off and on. So what I do is I break it down to just the exhaust housing so it's easier to handle, take good measurements, and then I've got this is my hood line, the bottom of my hood. If I got to cut out the bracing, we'll cut it out, I don't care. But it should be below this. And then that's my tentative location that I've eyeballed them by myself right now. So I just made little standoffs, some legs. We'll set this dude on here, see if placement's good. If that kind of works, I can maybe slip it back together in the hole as a whole enchilada. Then we can fit it, make sure I have clearance to the front. So I want a little distance off of here, and then I need room back here, because if we go T6 at some point, we have plenty of room for activity, because that housing is going to be even larger. So we got room to grow hopefully in this location, and then it's far enough away that this is going to start getting cool air, but it's close enough that I think we could fab some sort of bracket to kind of house it or hang it off the head here. So maybe we'll go one here and then off the exhaust or something. We'll figure that out. But this is how I do it. I'll bring you back when I get a little further along. Maybe we'll balance all this crap on here to make sure that it's the right distance and everything is good. And I'll show you guys that before we keep on rolling. Here's a good example of why it's called mock-up. We were way off. And again, that's me holding it and looking at stuff. So this obviously needs to be way over. That puts my turbo into the radiator. So we're gonna have to move the standoffs, the whole enchilada. So what I'll do is I'll just measure everything up, and then we can move it over accordingly, and then we'll do it again. And also, we are way too high. So there's a hood line. We'd have to be cut through the hood. So we'll get all our measurements, drop everything down, get it in the safe zone, and then we'll do it again. And then we'll keep rolling. So yeah, again, that's how you do it and why you do all that fun stuff.
I actually had to screw around a bunch more to get this thing, but now I'm happy with placement. It is further back. I didn't really want to go too much more this way because we're going to brace it off the head. Got reinforcements here. The A-team, the other half of the A-team is here helping out. So this is essentially what it's going to look like. And then literally we're just going to plug this boy whoop right into here. And then I'm planning on getting a standard intake. So this will probably end up going away. So literally the end of the intake is going to be around here somewhere. And it's just going to be a little tiny, this piece might even fit right in there with the boot. And that would be killer. Hopefully that makes this thing light off real fast and pumps all the hot air. So that's it, we're gonna keep rolling. I gotta take this back apart. I got my little floating deal down here with the legs, these dudes. So now I just have to plumb to here, which is easier said than done. All right, so we've got this monster brace made. So when we take these little legs out, it'll be good to go. He's working on it, but I had to make pie cuts because I didn't have any 3-inch bends. So it goes into this piece, into some pie cuts, which comes out, the piece of 3-inch, a short one. So we're gonna bring it out this way. Gonna have to merge that into it, and then we'll bring the guy from this side over, which should be the easier side. So when both of those are merged on the pie cuts where it bends, I'm gonna kick the wastegate over here, but we'll get all this done, and then I'll come back and cut a wastegate in. So that's what we're working on. Oh, got that dude tacked on.
2,000 years later.
The sun is gone. There's our hot side race car apparatus with all the pie cuts that I had to do. And this boy will hold it up, and there's still one leg behind it, but we'll cut that off as soon as everything's good to go. So that is it. Definitely a race car hot side. Not the fanciest thing, but as long as it goes down the track, we don't care, right? So we'll work on a bit more, bring you guys back, next time we're wrenching on it. But until then, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. I'm out.